Join the nation, Jim's Nerd Nation. It's not a passing sensation or a fascination. It's more like me doing verbal masturbation. Episode 1. I'm Luffy, the man who will become the Pirate King. Welcome, brothers and sisters of the nation, Jim's Nerd Nation. I, of course, am Jim, and I'm here to bring you my rendition or review, thoughts, and opinions on One Piece, the anime, episode 1. I've had quite a few subscribers comment and ask, hey, are you gonna do the anime? And I did promise that I would. It was just a matter of finding some time to actually start watching them. And I did just recently, about an hour ago, watch the first episode. I finally found a site that I could watch it on and find the first episode in a decent quality. So thank you, everyone who gave me all the different sites and areas, tips and pointers, places to go to find them. So, but let's start out by saying this originally aired back in 1999. So the animation is okay. I don't think it's great. I'm hoping that it'll improve in some of the later seasons. I really don't know what the budget was and everything else. And I also think it's worth noting that I watched it twice, once in the original Japanese with English subtitles, and then English dubbed as well. There didn't seem to be any differences at all, except for that I obviously could understand what they were saying, and they tried to find voices that were similar, I guess, in pitch and tone for the English dubbing. So it wasn't done great, but it's easier for me anyway to then focus on the animation and what's going on. So without further ado, let's dive right in. This takes place roughly, and I don't know if there's going to be a lot of filler material in each episode, but there is a lot of filler material that was not in the manga. It also starts out where Chapter 2 starts out in the manga, so you don't have that whole exchange between Luffy and Shanks and everything else. From what I have gathered and kind of heard from some of the subscribers that were asking me to do these reviews, they had said that later on that is explained in a flashback and everything else, which is fine. I mean, as far as it's completely appropriate and it's okay, not a problem at all. So, but this takes place roughly, like I said, where Chapter 2 would of the manga, and it winds up starting out with we see Iron Mace Alvida. If you remember, that's the big orca fat woman from my other review, and her and she's even uglier drawn in real life, moving, animated. And her and her crew are taking over a merchant vessel, a passenger ship. And we are also introduced, and we get our first glimpse of who I can only believe is Nami, and she is she is on the ship, and as Alvida is telling her crew to attack, they attack. They hit one of the masts with a cannonball. They pull alongside. They throw out all their ropes and start crossing and swinging across. We're introduced as well to a version of Coby, which, and again, the manga is black and white, so it's difficult to tell sometimes with these characters, but he has a kind of a pinkish purple hair in here, and has the whiny, nasally voice that you would imagine him to. But at any rate, some of the animations and the things are kind of goofy and over the top. The way she just kind of beats her crew around with her club, and they're all so scared of her. But it doesn't follow exactly along. Yeah, there's many different deviations from the manga, and that can be good or bad based on, I guess, what your preference is. So it doesn't really matter to me either way. It's just a different way of telling the same story. So as long as we're getting to the same major plot points, I'm completely okay with that. But at any rate, we wind up getting introduced to Luffy fairly early on. I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 minutes into the episode, and Coby is rolling a barrel. He doesn't know that Luffy's in it, I guess, but this is the barrel that Luffy is in from going down the whirlpool or whatever, getting caught in that. And he's rolling this big heavy barrel, and a few of the other pirates of Alvida's crew, I'm sorry, are they stop him and they say, "Well, what are you doing there? Are you trying to hold out on us?" He says, "No, I was just trying to get this beer for you guys, So one of the pirates he says, "Well, I'm gonna open it the old-fashioned way," and he goes to raise his fist up, this big exaggerate, like he's gonna pound it open, and Luffy comes popping out of the barrel and knocks this guy out cold. And the other two pirates that are there attempt to, they're upset that Luffy did that. Luffy just completely cheeses them off, just like whatever. And he turns to Coby and says, "Man, I'm starving. Is there any food?" And they go to hit him with their swords, and the swords break and everything like that because, as we know, Luffy cannot be damaged in the traditional senses. So, at any rate, the episode moves along at a pretty nice clip. Like I said, there is a little bit of filler stuff that they put in there. We wind up seeing Nami, and she's first in a dress, and she's dressed as like a very regal, type lady that maybe was on the boat being transported from one area to another. But she goes and quickly pulls off, the dress, and underneath we see that she's got a pirate cap on and an outfit that looks like a buccaneer, So Luffy, though, anyway, winds up having an exchange with Coby. They talk and meet a little bit, and just like in the manga, he kind of makes fun of Coby for a little bit for being such a pussy, basically. Coby says, "Hey, I've been in the service for the crew for a couple years. It's, they told me if I was a cabin boy, it's the only way that I would live, blah, blah, blah." And kind of a woe is me tale. But Luffy goes and they wind up going down into where all the food is kept and everything, and Luffy's just starving and he's munching up apples, and, and that sort of thing. The crew members of Alvida's crew that wind up the one that was knocked out, and then of course Luffy just embarrassed the other two. They wind up running up on the deck of the ship, and Alvida, of course, they're ransacking the ship. It's a passenger ship. They're trying to take all the loot they can. They're pirates. That's what they do, and they're trying to get out of there before the Navy appears. So at any rate, they come and they tell Alvida about this kid that popped out of the barrel, blah, blah, blah. And then when it cuts back to Coby and Luffy talking, Luffy has now introduced himself and kind of given him a little bit of a background and saying, "I'm going to be the king of the pirates." And that's what the episode is named, as well. So it's kind of our introduction to Luffy and to his goal initially. So Alvida winds up just popping in through the decks, through the floorboard, coming in through the ceiling or whatever, and a bunch of smoke and everything in front of him. Luffy backs up a little bit to the wall, and a bunch of swords come in from the different pirates, from her crew behind him, and anyway, we wind up getting that that situation that was similar in the manga too, and you'll see a lot of similarities that I'll draw from it because I'm always going to stay ahead with the reviews and the reading of the manga that I do with the episodes. So I'll try to draw comparisons, and for those of you that have maybe read one or seen one and not read the other, maybe you'll want to take a look at it. But at any rate, she's got that complex where she wants to be told that she's the fairest of them all type of deal, just like in the manga. And when she goes to ask Coby, and who's the fairest in this, Coby says, "Oh, but hold on, I got this, and Luffy interrupts and goes, "Who is this ugly woman, or this fat ugly woman?" To Coby. So anyway, Coby winds up going and flipping out, and he remembers what Luffy said about, "I'm going to be the king of the pirates, and you got to just believe in yourself, and this and that." And he, of course, wants to be in the Marines, in the Navy. So he goes and just flips out, and says, "You're a big, fat, ugly piece of what." And actually, it's kind of cool too because they do say a couple of swears in here. They've got shit, they've got jerk, they've got ass, all these great words, So they're used quite frequently. Ultimately, though, he just kind of lets her have it. And she's about to come down and crush him with her iron mace, and hence the name, Iron Mace Alvida. And Luffy stands in front of it and takes the blow directly to his head, and just kind of, pauses for a second, then looks up and just sort of smiles and says, "You can't hurt me like that," So then there's a big long action scene where he, jumps up on the deck, and he uses some of his rubbery powers, the pistol, Gomu pistol, and then the rocket. He pulls himself back and fires himself at a bunch of the different pirates, and it was actually pretty cool. It's probably about 5 or 6 minutes worth of action in there, and there hadn't been a whole lot up to that point. So he winds up ultimately, though, just rearing back and just knocking Alvida out, and I mean, like, out to sea out, She winds up landing, her fat ass winds up landing on one of the pirates that had been knocked overboard by him earlier. And anyway, the episode kind of wraps up shortly after that point. Coby, actually Luffy goes and tells the pirates, "Hey, listen, my man Coby here needs a boat, get him something, I don't want any problems." And him and Coby go off and get in the boat, and he talks about how they had mentioned Zoro earlier because Alvida had initially thought that maybe Luffy was Zoro, the great pirate hunter, coming after at any rate, it was mentioned very briefly. So Luffy says to Coby, he says, "Who's this? This is Zoro. I'd like to get him to join my crew. And of course Kobe's like, "You're crazy, man. This guy's nuts. He's like a demon, and he's this pirate hunter." Then he says, "That's fine. I want to ask him to join my crew." So the episode winds up ending, showing us, shows us the port town that of course we know from the manga series, but it shows the island, and then it zooms in to him actually, to Zoro actually being, chained up to the cross like beam that he's on, and him just kind of having that sinister look where he's looking down and he's peering up at you with his eyes. So all in all, I thought it was pretty cool. I'm going to keep doing these, and like I said, they are going to remain several chapters behind where I'm at in the manga, so nothing is spoiled or ruined for me, because I am a person who likes to read first and then kind of watch the movie. But ultimately, there was a big request, and a big push for me to start doing some of these. And it's kind of cool. I mean, I like seeing it. It's a different art form, and I just really hope that it can convey the story real well. And I understand there's 600 plus episodes of this, so I guess I'm only adding to my workload. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hit the like button if you do so wish, if you liked it. Certainly subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks again, everybody, brothers and sisters of the nation. We'll see you next time. I hope everybody enjoyed the review that I did of the first episode of the anime for One Piece. If you did, remember to comment, and then of course subscribe, and take a look at some of my other reviews for the manga of One Piece.